Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Spike Ridgley Show, brought to you all season long by Reliable Heating and Cooling of Massillon. I'm your host, Dave Sheets, and with me is the head coach of the Massillon Tiger baseball team, Spike Ridgley. Spike, welcome back to the show.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Glad to have you back after having the week off and some more wins to talk about. The Tigers are now 11-4 after playing several more games in the past week. Since our last show back on April 19th, you have split games with Louisville and Perry and won big over Cuyahoga Falls. Let's talk about those games now, starting with that split against Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville is a tough team. They're one of the top teams in the county, and there's no doubt about that. They hit the ball 1 through 9. If I remember right, we had a really good performance from Christian on the first game. I think it was on a Wednesday. He pitched very well, and then we were very sound offensively as well. Played some good defense, so that was really good to see us. We really sort of put it all together that day. And then we went back over to Louisville the next day, and it was a battle. It was an 8-inning battle. It went extra innings. We maybe didn't execute as well as we wanted to, and I think they would probably say the same thing. We both kind of left a lot of runners on base, but it just came down to we hit a 2-run homer in the 7th to take the lead, and then they hit another 2-run homer in the 7th to tie the game. It's one of those games. So it was a good game to be in. You hate to be on the losing side of it, but I think it's a game that helped us grow as a team and put us in the fire a little bit together. And it was nice to see how the guys responded.
Your team also split a pair of games with Perry. What do you remember about those?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Perry's tough. They pitched the ball really well. They shut us down on the first day, and we just didn't have many hits. And defensively, I thought both teams played pretty well. But we weren't able to get the hit with guys on base that day, and they were, and that was really the difference in that game. And then the second day, Drew Stitt pitched that game, and it was probably his best outing so far this year. He ended up with 12 strikeouts and 1 walk, and we really needed it. Coming off the loss the night before, just really needing to get out there, and he provided a spark. We were down in that game 1-0 all the way till the 6th inning. And one of the things that's fun to watch is your group and how they respond to adversity. And you could see that the belief never wavered the whole game. We were having good at bats. Again, we weren't able to bring that run home or those 2 runs home. We had one guy thrown out at home plate in the first inning. So we came out hitting, and tip your cap to them. They made a great throw right there and shut us down. So we were without anything for 6, and then we finally put it together and we were able to pull 3, end up winning 4-1.
Well, the bats were hot in a big win over Cuyahoga Falls. I think that score was 15-1. Is that right?
Yeah. That was if I remember right, that was a tough weather night. It was pretty. It was colder. We didn't know if we were going to get it in. Even while you're playing, you're wondering if you're going to get it in. But yeah, we had some guys, really hit that night, really top to bottom. It was good to see that. We needed to. So we broke out a little bit then. Still played our defense, and Brock provided a pretty good start for us too. We weren't maybe as efficient as we normally have been on the mound as far as getting a shutdown inning or maybe running a 1-2-3 every once in a while. They had guys on base seemed like the whole game, but we were able to kind of mitigate that by making some defensive plays, and then of course we were able to hit that night. So it was good to see that, and you want to try to carry that into the coming weeks.
I know your program was scheduled to honor your seniors in a game scheduled for Friday, April 28th, which was last Friday. That game was canceled. Has that event been rescheduled?
Yeah, so we don't have a whole lot of home games left. The Saturday we have a home game, but it's going to be Youth Day, so it's all the players from our youth program are going to come out. That'll be a great day. And then we're going to do it next Wednesday. So we have our Educator Day next Wednesday. It's the 10th, I think, against Dover. And we're going to combine the Educator Day with Senior Night, which I think those would be compatible. That'll be a nice evening. Okay. And we're going to talk more about your Youth Day in the last segment. Let's go back to Saturday. Your team was part of the PBR Classic. What's that all about? So PBR is Prep Baseball Report. They cover baseball really in America, and then they have a division for every state. So we actually host, I don't know if a lot of people know this, we host one of their showcases in the wintertime, and our kids will go to it. They'll do video for you, and it helps the kids with recruiting and that sort of thing for college. So when we had an opportunity to join that, we jumped on it because, that's for our kids, it's exciting. It's exciting to play a night game at Munson. We had a chance to do that, played against a strong opponent in St. V's. And there's video of a lot of the different things that happen in that game, and those will be things that the kids will be able to have forever. So it was a good event. We appreciate those guys hosting that, and it was something that we'd be interested in doing again. And
you played well into the night that night, right?
Well into the night, yeah. So I learned that Canton has a curfew at 11. So we started at 8:18. I looked down at my watch.
Right.
And it's funny because I told the umpire, he said, we have to stop it at 11. And both the coaches said, well, that won't happen. I mean, that's almost 3 hours from now.
Right.
And, of course it happened because of that.
And it went into extra innings.
Oh yeah. So that game, another game where we were struggling to find offense. We played our defense all night. They scratched one across, then they got another one. So in the first 2 innings, it was 2-0. So we decided to make a change quick. We thought, let's try Matt here. So we put Matt in he pitched 6 innings of scoreless baseball after that. Brock was an awesome teammate, moved behind the plate and caught after throwing 30-some pitches. That's what these guys are about. They're about the team. So we're going into the 7th. We had already gotten 1 run, I think it was in the 5th or 4th, somewhere in there, on a ball that we stole third or something, and it ends up going into left field. So that's how we got the first run. And then in the 7th, we had a guy at third and 2 outs, and we were fortunate right there, and the ball bounced and kicked away, and we scored and tied it. So I think we had 2 hits, and the opponent had 10 in that one. So we go into the bottom of the 7th, and there's a guy at second and 2 outs, and base hit, so the ball gets through, and you're thinking, man, that's not good. That's the winning run right there. It's the 7th inning, and Braden Garofalo comes up and threw a strike to home and cut the run down and provided the opportunity for extra innings. So pretty uneventful, couple of extra innings, a couple of runners on here and there, but again, both teams were struggling a little bit offensively by that point because the pitching was pretty strong on both sides. So that game's suspended right now, and the coach and I, we were even talking today trying to figure out how maybe we can get together and finish that one.
Okay. When we come back, we'll visit with a Tiger player, but first this word from Reliable Heating and Cooling.
There was a time when 10 miles to the gallon was acceptable. Today's 40-plus mile per gallon cars weren't even in the rearview mirror back then. Of course, this Lennox air conditioner wasn't on the radar either. It's solar ready, the quietest, most energy-efficient air conditioner you can own. It's time to live in the now.
Call Reliable Heating and Cooling for the most advanced technology in heating and air conditioning. When you're ready to live in the now, call Reliable Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
Thank you, Reliable Heating and Cooling, and welcome back to the Spike Ridgley Show. The Tiger player joining us this week is senior outfielder and designated hitter Braden Garofalo. Braden, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Braden, what are your earliest memories of playing baseball, and who taught you the game?
I'd say the earliest memories of baseball was playing t-ball over at the Boys and Girls Club. And then I'd say my dad taught me how to play catch in like the backyard, simple stuff.
As a senior, do you feel like you've accepted more of a leadership role on this team?
I'd say yes, but I try to stay true to myself, true to who I am.
Okay.
Try to be the best person I can be for the team.
You mostly play in the outfield. Do you have a favorite outfield position?
I'd say left field. Left field's pretty nice.
And
it's
why
pretty
is
nice
that?
out there. It's kind of fun because sometimes the ball will come at you at a hard angle, and then you have to make a good play on it. So,
what kind of abilities do you need to have to be a good outfielder?
you gotta have a lot. You gotta have the fundamentals down, and then you gotta be really good at tracking fly balls. That's the one I've learned this year so far. You gotta have communication with your teammates. You gotta have good communication with your teammates when you're out there.
And then I hear the ones that are hit directly at you are sometimes the toughest ones.
Yeah, because you don't know if they're ever gonna go behind your head or if they're gonna land right in front of you. So you gotta judge it real hard. It's a hard one to judge.
At the plate, you're currently hitting .286. You're also tied for the first on the team with 11 runs scored and tied for first with 11 stolen bases. What's the secret when it comes to stealing bases?
I wouldn't really say there's no secret. Really, when you're stealing bases, you have to get a good jump. If you don't get a good jump, you're more than likely going to get thrown out. And my teammates from the dugout, they help me a lot with that, because if the pitcher picks off and throws back to me, they'll scream back. So like I'm always waiting on that back call from the dugout, so it helps me a lot.
And finally, tell us what you enjoy the most about being a player on this year's Tiger team.
Probably just the memories we're making right now, down the road. I love this team from the bottom of my heart. I wouldn't do anything to trade it to go play for a different team.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you. Good luck the rest of the season. Coach Ridgley will rejoin us here on the Spike Ridgley Show after this timeout.
Hello, and welcome to the Stark County Humane Society. Today we're going to give you a few pointers when considering adopting a new furry friend. All animals here at the Stark County Humane Society are spayed, neutered, microchipped, vaccinated, dewormed, and if old enough, heartworm tested for our canine friends. Adopters will receive a free exam within 2 weeks of adoption at local veterinarian hospitals. We encourage all adopters to take full advantage of this. A one-time adoption fee is required for your new furry friend. When you adopt, you get an awesome adoption packet that includes treats for your new fur baby and savings for you. But this is not where the cost of adoption stops. Did you know the average cost of an animal like a new puppy or kitten can cost up to $500 annually? This includes annual veterinarian visits, preventative care, and everyday supplies like crate, litter, food, toys. But I hope this doesn't scare you away. Adopting an animal is a huge responsibility and a commitment. Please take the time to consider the cost of adopting a new pet into your family today. I hope to see you soon at the Stark County Humane Society. Please visit our website or visit us on social media for more information.
And welcome back to the Spike Ridgley Show. Coach, we just spoke with Braden Garofalo in our last segment. Tell us more about that young man and how he impacts the team.
I couldn't be more proud of him. He's a guy that sophomore year, he was a guy that he didn't make the team. And, he had a positive attitude then about it, went to work, didn't stop trying, played travel ball in the summertime, really got himself going well in school and shows back up his junior year. And you just couldn't be more proud of a young man that where he was at, just with his schooling, with his effort. And it was great to be able for him to be back with us. And he ended up being, we give awards at the end of the year, and he ended up being a teammate of the year last year. And so that just tells you how important he is to our group. And then moving into this year, being a senior now, I've been impressed with just his willingness to do whatever role we need. For a while it was, he might go in and run once in the game. And maybe one day all he's doing a chart. But that's important because it's data that we're using to help us try to win. And it's kind of grown from there. He started running a lot more during the game, 2, 3, 4 times, because we can use the runners in non-league games. To the point now where we noticed him in practice in the cages with the hitting. Now he's been our DH the last few games, played left field a couple of times too. So, the thing that I will always remember about him is just he's all about the team. The team is always first, and he's communicating. He's a bridge between the coaches and the players, and we have several guys like that. We're very fortunate. That doesn't always happen. But he's a great bridge between the coaching staff and the players, and he's got a huge heart. And if you can build a team around a guy like that each year, you're always going to have a chance. So, it's one of those things. We got a special group of seniors. There's 9 of them, and this is going to be a really tough one when these guys move on. Because you grow attached to the guys, you really care for each other, and so we're just trying to really stay in the moment, enjoy all the time that we have together.
We have several more games to talk about coming up this week, and the schedule does not get any easier. No. Let's start with tonight's road game at Central Catholic, of course, weather permitting.
Yeah. So Central Catholic is a tough team year in and year out. I mean, you just look at their history. They've been playing really well of late. They beat the St. V team that we got suspended game against, I guess, Saturday night. And they've played a lot of the same teams that we've played, and they've had some success with those teams. So, it's somebody that we respect a bunch. I know Dan pretty well. He was actually a grad assistant when I played baseball at Akron. So we've known each other for a long time. Our families know each other. His team is going to be really well coached, and it'll be a battle, and we're looking forward to it.
This Friday, you're on the road for a game at Jackson. The Polar Bears are one of the top teams in the area, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's another familiar foe. It's guys that I've been in the dugout with before. A lot of those guys are still in there, and those games are fun. I mean, whether it's Central Catholic or Jackson or really a lot of the Stark County teams, those are the games that you need to play to get yourselves ready. And we're looking forward to the opportunity. We've had a home and we rotate at home and home each year, and it's been good to be able to have that series because I think it makes us both better.
Saturday, you're back home to face Worcester. We mentioned earlier in the program about Youth Day. Can you tell us a little bit more, expand on that, and tell us about the Generals?
Yeah. So we'll start with Worcester. They do the polls every week, and you talk about Jackson. I think Jackson's 5th in the poll this week, and I think I saw Worcester was 10th. So having a great year. I know they've got a couple kids. They got a kid going to Kentucky. He's committed, and I think his younger brother's on the team now, and I heard he's a pretty good player too. So Steve Young is a guy that actually used to coach here a while back as an assistant, good coach. They'll be ready to go, and it should be a great game. Usually when we get to play them, it's close. Every time we've played them, it's within a run or two in my time here. And then the youth day is something we started doing a while back, and it's a lot of fun. So the kids that they wear their uniform to the game. The coaches are invited as well, and their families. They get in for free. And anybody that's in uniform gets a free hot dog, pop, and some chips. And then we call them all down. We bring them all down on the field, and they take a picture with the team. And it's just a real positive day. And one thing that we were able to do to sort of bridge that too as well was we had the team pictures for all the youth league up at the Duck this year too, a couple Sundays ago. So looking forward to having all those kids back. I've got two little ones of my own now, so I'm getting to see it firsthand. I remember from when I was a kid how starstruck you were when you saw the varsity team, but I'm seeing it now from my two kids. I got one son walking around the house in a chest protector and a mask, and he tells us that he wants to be Matt McGeorge, but he said he calls him Mac and George. So it's pretty neat. So it's a neat time right now. We look forward to having those kids at the field on Saturday, and it'll be a good time.
Then next Monday and Tuesday, back-to-back road games at Glen Oak and Dover.
Yeah. So Monday. We get a chance to go out to Glen Oak. Great, it's a good team. One of the best teams we've played this year. They hit. I mean, we had a guy hit a couple home runs against us the first time we played. So, looking forward to that challenge. Ray Frisbee's actually a guy I coached when he was in college for a little bit there. So they'll be ready to go. And then we go to Dover. We actually picked the Dover game up to go there Tuesday. That was a cancellation from earlier in the year. And then they come here on Wednesday. So they're coming back this way. That's a team that's usually, in the seed picture with their record, and they'll be pretty tough. So it's going to be we're getting some good games at the right time to help prepare us for a couple of weeks from now.
And you mentioned seeding. I know that the voting for the seeding in the upcoming Division I tournament comes up this week and weekend. How does the voting process work, and what are you expecting for your Tigers as far as seeding goes?
Yeah, so it opened up on Sunday where we can put in our they call it the bios. You can put in your records. It'll ask you for key wins and other information. So what I do is I just list every game. So I just list every game and the score, whether it was a win or a loss. And then I put a little info in there on the amount of seniors and returning guys that we have from last year's district team. So that goes in first, and then that closes out Wednesday this week. So tomorrow night that'll close out, and then we get a chance to see each other's. And right now we're 11-4. Weather permitting, we'll be able to add this Central game in there, however this game goes. And then what you do is, what my staff and I do is we lay all the information out, and there's 35 teams, I think, and we try to list them 1 to 35. And then the way that works is the draw is then on Sunday. So you got to have your voting in by Saturday. The way that the voting works is, you go through and order all the teams to the best of your ability. It's tough because you don't see everybody play. And then everybody's trying to get one of those 12 byes. There's 12 byes because there's 3 districts.
Okay.
And if you can get one of the 12 byes, then you would have the opportunity to play in a sectional final game, one game to try to get to the districts. So obviously we're trying to have a good week here to add to the resume. And then, we'll see how the chips fall on Sunday.
Sounds good. Well, as we wrap up this edition of the Spike Ridgley Show, we want to thank Coach and senior outfielder and designated hitter Braden Garofalo for joining us. Our show brought to you all season long by Reliable Heating and Cooling. I'm your host, Dave Sheets, and for the Coach, Thanks for watching, and as always, go Tigers.